Welcome to Dinar Daily, where we track the developments that matter. This week, a palpable sense of anticipation has settled over communities that closely follow international finance, with a particular focus directed squarely at interactions between Washington and Baghdad. An undercurrent of significant conversation is fueling a global watch as observers and dinar holders from every corner of the world tune in, scrutinizing every piece of information that emerges. The atmosphere is thick with discussion and analysis, centered on the possibility that this period in late 2025 could mark a pivotal moment. The core question on many minds is whether the ongoing dialogues will begin to lift the veil on the intricate, financial mechanics being recalibrated behind the scenes, potentially offering a more defined roadmap of what the future holds for Iraq's economic journey and its national currency. Today, our goal is to delve into the substance behind this heightened attention, exploring the nuances of what is being referred to as a Treasury update. We will carefully unpack the reasons for this intense focus and examine the potential implications of these developments for long-term strategies and understanding. It's crucial to follow every thread of this complex tapestry, as each detail, no matter how small, contributes to a more comprehensive understanding of the forces at play within the global dinar landscape. The convergence of diplomatic, economic, and technological factors creates a unique environment where information is the most valuable asset for those trying to navigate the intricate and often opaque world of international currency dynamics. The week's events are not just isolated incidents but are viewed by many as potential pieces of a much larger puzzle being assembled. Let's begin by clarifying what the term Treasury update truly signifies in this context. Rather than a single formal announcement, it represents a broad spectrum of ongoing conversations, policy adjustments, and systemic movements that involve international monetary policies and the very architecture of global banking. These are not events that happen in a vacuum. They are part of a larger, coordinated effort to prepare global financial systems for potential shifts in currency valuations and exchange protocols. The discussions are multifaceted, touching upon everything from regulatory frameworks to the technological infrastructure that underpins cross-border transactions. This wider lens helps to explain why the focus extends beyond Iraq, as any significant realignment would invariably involve a synchronized response from multiple international financial bodies and governments. For those who have been following the Iraqi Dinar, this period is of paramount importance because communications from major financial institutions, such as the U.S. Treasury or the Central Bank of Iraq, are seen as vital indicators of direction and timing. Even if these updates do not explicitly mention the dinar, the subtext and policy implications often create ripples that are interpreted as being directly connected to Iraq's economic future. This is precisely why every official statement, every press release, and every subtle signal is being meticulously dissected and analyzed by a global community of observers. They are searching for clues within the formal language of finance, hoping to piece together a coherent picture of the preparatory steps being taken on the world stage for what could be a new phase in international economic relations. You may be wondering about the specific reasons for the intense focus on this particular week in 2025. The concentration of attention stems from a confluence of observed patterns and persistent chatter that have been circulating within currency-watching communities. There is a prevailing belief among many that certain foundational financial systems are currently undergoing a period of testing, comprehensive review, or even significant upgrades. These activities are interpreted as necessary preparations for future financial operations that may require a more robust and efficient framework. The nature of these supposed updates ranges from back-end system maintenance at major banking institutions to quiet, high-level meetings that are not publicly announced but are rumored to be taking place. Any indication of coordinated movement or synchronized activity between different financial institutions immediately captures the attention of dinar holders. From their perspective, such events could serve as a powerful signal that a significant development is drawing nearer. While it's important to differentiate between routine operational updates and genuinely transformative changes, the convergence of multiple seemingly minor events within a short time frame fuels the narrative of progress. Even if these activities do not culminate in the long-awaited major event, they are often perceived as crucial incremental steps forward. This perspective explains why the community remains so vigilant, treating each new piece of information as a potential signpost on the path toward a reconfigured financial landscape, placing these events within the broader context of 2025 reveals a global financial environment that has been characterized by rapid and continuous change. Throughout the year, major institutions like the Federal Reserve have been making notable adjustments to their monetary strategies, responding to evolving economic data and global pressures. Simultaneously, inflationary trends, which have been a source of concern worldwide, have begun to show signs of stabilizing in key regions, creating a more predictable economic climate. For oil-producing nations, including Iraq, this backdrop has been complemented by a period of gradual but steady growth, bolstered by stable energy markets. These macroeconomic factors do not exist in isolation. They collectively shape the global stage upon which individual national economies operate and evolve. Iraq, in particular, has been navigating this complex environment with a clear and ambitious agenda. The nation's ongoing efforts to reconstruct its economy, enhance the stability and value of its currency, and actively court foreign investment are all integral components of a comprehensive, long-term vision. The Central Bank of Iraq has been at the forefront of this movement, implementing policies designed to dramatically improve transparency in its financial sector. Furthermore, a significant push is underway to strengthen the country's digital banking infrastructure, bringing it into closer alignment with prevailing international standards. Each of these strategic initiatives is a building block, intended to create a foundation for sustained, long-term strength in the dinar, even though the full impact of such reforms often takes considerable time to materialize. One of the key reasons for the heightened focus this week revolves around the persistent discussions concerning a tiered system for currency exchange. Specifically, the term Tier 4B has become a central part of the lexicon for many observers. This term refers to a theoretical group composed of private currency holders and exchange entities who, according to widespread speculation, might be included in an early phase of an exchange process during a major global currency revaluation event. It is absolutely essential to underscore that no official body has ever confirmed the timing, structure, or even the existence of such a tiered approach. Despite the lack of official validation, this concept remains a dominant and highly influential topic of conversation and analysis. Within various online communities, this ongoing dialogue has led many to engage in a process of connecting the dots, where they actively seek out patterns and correlations that might lend credence to the tiered system theory. Observers are closely monitoring a wide range of inputs, including routine updates from banking institutions, official activities from Treasury departments, and nuanced statements from international financial leaders. The goal is to identify any signs of movement or preparation that could be interpreted as aligning with this speculative framework. While it represents a fascinating case study in community-driven analysis, it also highlights an area fraught with risk, as it is based entirely on unverified information and theories that circulate outside of official channels. ***, some of the speculation is being fueled by anecdotal reports of changes being observed at the local bank level. These accounts vary widely but often include details about brief, sometimes unscheduled, system maintenance periods or unconfirmed reports of new software updates being rolled out across banking networks. Furthermore, there are claims circulating that some financial institutions have initiated specialized training programs for their staff members. The theory woven around these observations is that such training could be designed to prepare employees for handling currency transactions of a larger scale or greater complexity than they typically encounter. This narrative suggests that banks are quietly getting ready for a future event that would necessitate enhanced capabilities. While it is crucial to recognize that none of these individual observations constitute definitive proof of an impending major event, they collectively contribute to the larger, evolving story that something significant is being prepared behind the scenes. Over the years, seasoned dinar holders have learned to pay close attention to seemingly minor details, operating under the premise that major financial shifts in the past have often been preceded by subtle updates and technical adjustments in background systems long before any public announcements were made. This historical perspective is what drives the meticulous monitoring of the financial sector's every move. As observers search for the faint signals that might precede a more substantial change. At the same time, maintaining a grounded and realistic perspective is of paramount importance. Speculative ventures, particularly those involving foreign currencies like the Iraqi dinar, inherently carry a significant level of risk. The unvarnished truth is that no one outside of the highest official financial and governmental circles can know with any certainty when, or even if, a major revaluation of the currency might take place. Numerous mainstream financial experts have consistently issued reminders to the public, cautioning against making decisions based solely on online rumors or unverified claims that proliferate on social media and forums. Their advice typically emphasizes the need for due diligence and a clear understanding of the risks involved. Despite these warnings, there is no denying the high level of sustained interest and the persistent sense of optimism that permeates the community of dinar watchers. This optimism is often buoyed by the tangible progress Iraq is making on its path toward greater economic stability and deeper integration into the global economy. The excitement surrounding potential changes is understandable, given the dedication many have shown in following this topic for years. However, this enthusiasm must be tempered with a healthy dose of financial caution. A prudent and measured approach, based on verified information rather than speculation, remains the most sensible path forward for anyone navigating this complex and uncertain landscape. Let's now turn our attention to the current state of Iraq's economy, which is a critical piece of this entire puzzle. Over the past several years, the country has been diligently and systematically laying the groundwork for sustainable economic growth. The key area of improvement has been the nation's oil sector, where both production and export capacities have been enhanced, providing a vital source of revenue. Beyond the energy sector, significant investments are being made in expanding and modernizing infrastructure, including transportation and communication networks, which are essential for a diversified economy. In parallel, Iraq has been actively developing new trade partnerships, broadening its economic ties with other nations and creating new avenues for commerce and investment. The Central Bank of Iraq has played a pivotal role in this foundational work. Its consistent efforts to stabilize the dinar's exchange rate and methodically build up the country's foreign currency reserves have not gone unnoticed by international economic observers. These measures are viewed as positive and constructive signs of progress, even if they do not immediately translate into a dramatic currency revaluation. It is a fundamental principle of economics that progress often occurs slowly and incrementally, through a series of small, deliberate steps taken over many years, rather than through sudden, dramatic leaps. These developments, however, are crucial for creating a stable and resilient economic environment that can support a stronger national currency over the long term. Meanwhile, the Treasury-related updates anticipated this week are being analyzed with such intensity because they may offer hints about a broader level of coordination between global financial systems. The world of modern finance is profoundly interconnected. A policy update in one major country frequently prompts responsive adjustments in others, creating a cascade effect across the international system. Consequently, any signals emerging from Washington or other financial capitals regarding new digital banking frameworks, enhancements to cross-border payment systems, or the development of new currency reform mechanisms could have significant ripple effects. These effects would primarily influence investor expectations and shape the narrative around the future of global finance, while It is always wise to exercise caution and avoid reading too much into any single update or announcement. It is fair to say that many observers are sensing a distinct shift in momentum as we move through 2025. There is a quiet but steadily growing belief that this year might bring a greater degree of clarity than has been seen in a long time. This sentiment is not necessarily about predicting a specific outcome, but rather about acknowledging that the pace of change and the level of international dialogue appear to be accelerating. This perceived momentum is what keeps the community so engaged, as they watch for signs that the long-term trend is moving toward greater transparency and a more integrated global financial order. Another significant talking point that has gained prominence this week involves the accelerating discussion around the transition to digital financial systems. This is not a phenomenon limited to one country but a global trend, with governments and central banks all over the world actively working to modernize their financial infrastructure. Advanced technologies like blockchain, which offers secure and transparent record-keeping, are being explored and implemented. Faster payment settlement processes are being developed to increase the efficiency of commerce, and improved digital identification tools are being rolled out to enhance security and access. These technological upgrades are quickly becoming the new global standard for how financial systems operate. For those watching the Iraqi Dinar, this global digital transformation is seen as a particularly encouraging sign. The logic is that these advanced technological frameworks could eventually provide the necessary support for new currency structures or facilitate more seamless revaluation processes. The implementation of such systems could make cross-border exchanges significantly faster, more transparent, and more secure than ever before. This perspective suggests that the essential technical groundwork for smoother currency transitions on a global scale is actively being laid. Whether these systems are ultimately used for the dinar or any other national currency, their development is seen as a positive and necessary step toward a more modern and interconnected financial future. It is also fascinating to observe the dynamics of how information circulates within the dinar community itself. A vibrant ecosystem of online forums, dedicated YouTube channels, and various social media platforms serves as the primary conduit for sharing observations, rumors, and personal insights. Within these spaces, some individuals claim to have contacts inside banking or other financial institutions, offering what they frame as insider perspectives. Others take a more analytical approach, meticulously dissecting official news headlines and economic data releases to draw their own conclusions. This constant and rapid flow of information can generate a great deal of excitement and a sense of shared purpose among community members. However, this dynamic information environment also presents its own set of challenges. The sheer volume of information, combined with its often unverified nature, can become overwhelming and potentially misleading for those trying to form an accurate picture of the situation. This is why cultivating a balanced and discerning mindset is absolutely essential. The most prudent approach is to always seek confirmation from multiple, reliable, and preferably official sources before accepting any piece of information as fact or drawing any firm conclusions. In a landscape filled with speculation, the ability to critically evaluate sources and differentiate between credible analysis and unsubstantiated rumor is an invaluable skill. Let's delve more deeply into the specific modernization efforts within Iraq's banking sector. The Central Bank of Iraq has been engaged in a multi-pronged strategy to connect its domestic financial systems more seamlessly with international networks. A major focus of this initiative is on improving compliance with globally recognized standards for banking and finance. This includes strengthening protocols to reduce the risks of money laundering and to create a more transparent and accountable financial environment. Concurrently, the central bank is spearheading the creation of smoother and more accessible digital payment options for Iraqi citizens, a move designed to foster greater financial inclusion and modernize the way commerce is conducted within the country. These internal updates and reforms are critically important because they serve to build confidence among international investors and financial partners. A robust, transparent, and modern banking system is seen as a prerequisite for attracting significant foreign investment and for being treated as a reliable partner in the global economy. The stronger and more reputable Iraq's banking system becomes, the more stable and resilient its national currency can be in the long run. This is why so many close observers view these banking reforms not just as technical upgrades, but as a key and indispensable step in the nation's broader journey of economic recovery and its quest to secure a position of strength in the future. In addition to the crucial economic and banking reforms, the Iraqi government has been placing a renewed focus on improving governance and actively reducing corruption. For many years, corruption has been cited by both internal and external observers as one of the most significant obstacles impeding the nation's progress and economic development. The recent efforts to increase transparency across government functions and to strengthen the rule of law are being carefully watched by the international community. These are not simple or quick fixes. They represent slow, systemic changes that are essential for laying the foundation of a stronger, more reliable, and more trustworthy national economy. There is a fundamental truth in the financial world that confidence is the ultimate currency. A system that is perceived as transparent, fair, and governed by the rule of law naturally inspires greater confidence from both its own citizens and from international partners. This increased confidence, in turn, helps to strengthen the national currency and attract the long-term investment needed for sustainable growth. While the fight against corruption is an arduous and ongoing process, every step forward in this area is a significant victory for Iraq's economic future, contributing to the stable environment that is necessary for any currency to thrive on the global stage. Of course, it is important to acknowledge that there is no universal consensus on how close we might be to seeing major changes in the dinar's valuation. The community of observers is home to a wide spectrum of opinions. On one end, there are those who believe that the current wave of activity and discussion is simply another cycle of anticipation, similar to others in the past, which may not necessarily lead to any immediate, tangible results. On the other end of the spectrum, there are individuals who are firmly convinced that significant shifts could occur much sooner than many people expect. Pointing to the current pace of reform and international dialogue as evidence, the most likely reality probably lies somewhere between these two poles. Economies and financial markets move in complex cycles, and the timing of major events is notoriously difficult to predict with any accuracy. What matters most for those following the situation is not to fixate on a specific timeline, but rather to understand the larger picture of Iraq's economic and institutional development. Being prepared for a range of possibilities is the most rational stance. This includes readiness for a scenario in which the dinar gradually strengthens over a long period, as well as maintaining patience for their potential of a more significant revaluation event, all while grounding expectations in the observable facts. So, what is the most advisable course of action for dinar holders during this week of heightened attention? The most consistent advice from seasoned analysts is to remain informed, stay calm, and studiously avoid making any impulsive decisions based on speculation or emotion. It is essential to follow credible updates from reputable sources and to keep a close watch for any official communications from Treasury, departments, or central banks. At the same time, it is equally important to maintain a healthy skepticism toward exaggerated claims or unsubstantiated rumors that often circulate during periods of high anticipation. This week may indeed bring some tangible movement, or it might simply conclude with more discussion and further preparations. Either way, every new piece of verified information helps to build a clearer and more nuanced understanding of the overall direction in which things are heading. At present, that direction appears to be pointing consistently towards the development of stronger global financial systems, a greater emphasis on transparency and regulatory compliance, and better coordination between international economic partners. This long-term trend is arguably more significant than any single week's events. By focusing on this broader trajectory, observers can better position themselves to understand the changes that are reshaping the global financial landscape. Regardless of the specific timing, as we move deeper into the final quarter of 2025, the sense of momentum in global financial circles continues to build. The world is undergoing a period of rapid transformation, and currency systems are inevitably evolving in response to these profound changes in technology, economics, and geopolitics. Whether or not a major revaluation event for the Iraqi dinar occurs this year, it is abundantly clear that we are living through a time of significant financial transformation. The steady and undeniable progress being seen in Iraq's banking system, its expanding international partnerships, and its improved economic management all suggest a determined and consistent move toward modernization and global integration. For those who have been watching the dinar for years, this progress suggests that patience could eventually be rewarded. However, this outcome is contingent on expectations remaining realistic and decisions being firmly grounded in verified facts rather than speculative hope. The Treasury-related updates of this week might not deliver an instant, dramatic change, but they do serve a valuable purpose by bringing greater clarity. Every official signal, every public statement, and every policy action helps to paint a more detailed picture of what is truly happening behind the headlines. And in the world of finance, clarity is often more powerful than immediate action, as it empowers individuals to make smarter, safer, and more informed choices. The more we understand the structure and substance of these ongoing updates, the better we can prepare for whatever comes next. This is precisely why this week's developments are so important to watch with care and diligence.